There are shows with psychics.
And there are shows with doctors.
But there's no show like The Psychic and the Doc.
Your practical paranormal power unleashed.
This show synthesizes the talents of world-class medium Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, psychic explorer,
and street smart spiritualist, behavioral psychologist, Dr. Pat Baccili. All subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Inspiration, insight,
action, and fun as Mark Anthony connects callers with loved ones in spirit,
in tandem with Dr. Pat's fresh, no-nonsense, street smart, intuitive insights. And she is hilarious.
Extraordinary problems
require extraordinary solutions, which may come from this side
or the other side. This is The Psychic
and the Doc, and it starts now. Welcome, everybody, to The Psychic and the Doc. It is November 7th, and we're doing a very special topic today called adoption awareness. And I found a beautiful quote that said, "Families don't have to match. You don't have to look like someone else to love them." And what a beautiful thing to say about adoption. And adoption is such an important part of our society and life. There's nothing better than a child finding a home and being welcomed into a loving environment. No one should have to go through life being alone, afraid, not knowing if they have a secure environment. And so adoption awareness, it's Adoption Awareness Month, and that's why we figured we would dedicate a show to this. Also, I'm here with my esteemed colleague, Dr. Pat Baccili, world-renowned behavioral psychologist, and we're going to be taking your calls. This is a live call-in show, 1-800-930-2819. And, you know, Dr. Pat is just amazing. And right now she's going through a tough time. She just found out someone very near and dear to her heart passed not too long ago. And, you know, for all of us, when we have people in our lives that are friends or mentors or someone that you haven't seen for a while, but they were such a vital part of your life's journey, and then you discover that they've passed. And it's as if a piece of your heart has been ripped out.
Yeah. You know, I want to just tell everybody, we're going to get right to the phones today. Mark and I do other things outside of this show. Of course, you probably know that about Mark, but you don't know that about me. I do the Dr. Pat Show, but also run the network. And I want to just say to all of you out there that for some of you, and I'm not saying all of you, but for some of you, this has been a tough week and we have been taking your calls. And for some of you, you're celebrating. That's what the world is made of. You know, the world is made up of all of us that are very different. And at some level, we're all the same. And I want to just make that statement before we go to the phones, just to say, Mark and I do this show, and you may think who we are, you may think what we do, but we want to say to all of you, this is a show where everybody is welcome. And what we mean by that is this is a show called The Psychic and the Doc, and it's a spiritual show, for lack of any other word. And it's a psychology show.
Yes.
And I want to say this. Many of you have asked me, I work with a group of young people who at 4:00 in the morning, I didn't watch the election. I have a habit of not doing that. I used to do that when I was younger, and it just drove me to drink. So I don't do that anymore, and I don't drink anymore. And I know that my life now, I am guided by a higher purpose. Everything we do, what we're doing. But I had so many calls. And what happened was, today was this day where we found out about a passing of our very dear friend, Evelyn. But it was also an interesting day because I had a visit from my mentor who passed. Now, what does that mean, Mark? Now, Mark really gets to visit with people. I don't do that. What happens is I'll get a thought and then I'll go grab her book. I go grab her book. This is a woman who conducted circles all over the world. Ukraine, everywhere. She wrote, contrary to what you believe, the first book on ceremonial circles. She passed away way too early, but she was my mentor. I learned a lot from her. There are pictures of her doing circles in Chernobyl. And I went back and listened to an old interview. And I thought, I have to play these two clips. Because all of you called, and you've called it to different shows, you're looking for answers. And I want to play the first clip, and I want to tell you if Sidonia Kate will hear, this is what she would say. Go ahead, Emily.
With the issues that are coming up in their situation, what would you do?
Well, I'd ask some like-minded people to come and sit in a circle with me. And we together would figure out how to organize the circle and what we wanted to accomplish, what we needed.
Just on a practical level, how would you go about doing that? Who would you think of putting in the circle?
Well, I said like-minded people, but you actually might want to sit with people who had viewpoints and attitudes that were different than yours, so you could really start hearing each other. It depends on what you want. But you just choose who you want to be with.
Say you're having trouble in your work situation. That
Well, let's stop
you're
right
having
there.
trouble with.
Stop right there, Emily. That's who my mentor was. That's what she did. And I got to tell you, Mark, I haven't figured out what the heck the woman is asking me to do. But if she happens to come through, please get me some additional information, because she knows what we're building here. Now, this is a woman that in the short time I knew her, taught me how to do Vision Quest, and I was part of her co-counsel. Do you see the gown behind me? This is the eerie part of what Mark does. You see this cloth behind me? 2 weeks ago, I put that up without, I said, Linda, where is my desert cloth? Out of nowhere. That's my ceremonial cloth that I used in ceremonial circle in the desert with her. Emily, play the second clip. I hope I did this right today.
Together.
Well, it's much more process-oriented. It's a place where everyone can speak their heart and count on being heard. In other words, showing up and being listened to.
Not everybody's used to doing that, though.
I know that. So it takes some practice sometimes. Sometimes if you want to start with a question, you can start with one that's not too loaded for people. You might say, what has meaning and value for you in your life right now? Most people would be able to respond to that.
Thank you, Emily. Now, I don't have permission to play the whole clip because it wasn't done on my network, but I'm going to try to get permission. But those are just two clips that I have to ponder on. And Mark, I know you and I have talked about this. What can we do more? And I think, well, as sad as you might be and as happy as you might be, there is always room for us to do what Sidonia said. What do you think, Mark?
Yes, there is. And, this week has been very turbulent I think for everybody, for both sides. And, I always avoid political discussion because everybody has a right to their opinion. And this is the United States of America. And we stand for freedom of speech. And everybody is welcome here, like Dr. Pat said on the Psychic and the Doc, because the one thing that Dr. Pat and I know is that grief and the pain of loss isn't a Democrat, it isn't a Republican, it isn't an independent, it hits everyone. And that's why we're here, an open door to people who are hurting. Can we take your pain away? Maybe not, but we might be able to lighten the burden that's weighing you down. Mm-hmm. And the Psychic and the Doc is a very important show. And what you were asking of your friend in spirit, Dr. Pat, Evelyn, your friend in spirit, is, what does this woman want me to do?
Oh, that's Sidonia. I asked Sidonia.
Oh, Sidonia. All right. As soon as
I asked her, what do you want me to do? Right? Yeah.
As soon as you said that, I heard what you're doing. What you're doing. Because think about it. All right, you started off as a talk show host with the Dr. Pat Show, which was and is a really cool show. It's a great show, okay? But then that was the seed that got planted, and then all of a sudden, the Transformation Network sprang up into a tree, and now there's all these different branches of it, and the Psychic and the Doc is one of the branches of that tree, and the Dr. Pat Show is another branch, and the several other shows that are on the network, and so Positive Talk Radio. That's what Transformation Talk Network is. Because, you look at the news and it's doom and gloom and horror stories because, the world can be a very violent and negative place. But there's also positivity. And no matter how dark you may think things are, the deepest depths of darkness cannot stand up to just one candle flame. And
I
so
love that.
the Psychic and the Doc, we're that candle flame.
Yeah. And I don't know what it's like for where you all are. I don't know where you live or what it's about. I happen to live in Washington State, and boy, you could go ahead and Google it and you see what color that is on the map. But I'm also from New Jersey. You can Google that. I will tell you though, what happened here in the Seattle area is unprecedented. The reason I played the circle clip from Sidonia is because we have had no less than 12 centers / churches of all, whatever you want to call it, no political, whatever it, hold services and circles for people to just come and express themselves. Profoundly healing. And I'm not just saying for people that, we lost. No. This was a place for people to come so that rifts in the family can get healed from this, because there were some, and then we could step back and honor the journey. Look, I am an idealist. I've been called a whole lot of ideal things, and I'm not ready to trade my view of humanity in for electoral votes. I'm just not willing to do it. And neither is our network. Today I got asked, we heard you, Pat, say you were going to launch a political channel called Politica. I don't know where they heard that. They must have listened to an old show. I mean, it had to be an archive because I didn't talk about any of that.
Or it could have been a joke. It's like, because sometimes when we're talking, you can say, we're going to start a show called Politica. No,
we are. We really are. And we have the name for it. It's called Politica with the feminine version of it. But I think that was like 6 months ago. And they said, the question came up in a text or an email. I can't remember. I can't keep track of what the communication. But the question came up. What was the question? How was it worded? Oh, let me summarize. Let me paraphrase. Are you going to let everybody in? And I looked at that and I said, what are you talking about? This is America. This is for everybody. Of course, we're going to let everybody in. I mean, I don't even understand what the question's about, but here's what we're not going to let in: hate. That is not welcome here. I hope today we open our hearts, because that's what Mark does every show, and we are going to meet you where you are. But I had too many calls today not to play Sidonia's circle. When you lose a loved one, look at what she said. We formed more circles on people that have passed. Her circle, when she passed, Mark, you could hear the echoes of that. Let's take a short break, Emily, and then James and Nicole, we're right on it. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to The Psychic and the Doc. Mark, before we get rolling here, we're going to go to James, Nicole, and others. I would love to have you tell people how they can actually keep up with you and what you're doing.
Please visit my website, which is afterlifefrequency.com. And this weekend, on November 9th, at the Unity of Tampa, and the Unity spiritual communities are wonderful organizations. It's a church, a spiritual community that's open to all. And I'll be doing an evening of spirit communication at the Unity of Tampa. And to find out about tickets to this event, please visit my website, which is afterlifefrequency.com, just like my latest book, Afterlife Frequency. Mm-hmm. And when you're on Afterlife Frequency, go to the calendar of events. You can find out about Best Holistic Life magazine, subscribing to that. You can sign up for my newsletter, find out about scheduling a private phone reading with me. And the Unity of Tampa, it's a beautiful community. I did a talk there back in, I guess it was in March, when they had an Edgar Cayce field conference on reincarnation, and the people at the Unity of Tampa were so nice, mm-hmm. and they talked to Rocky and they said, "Can you bring Mark back just to do spirit communication?" So that is this weekend at Unity of Tampa. And Dr. Pat, I understand we got a couple callers.
Yeah,
what do you say we go to the phones?
Emily, it's all you.
Okay, up first we have James from LA. You are live.
Hi, James. How are you?
Okay, thank you.
Where are you? You're in LA? I'm sorry, I'm making a mess here. You're out of Los Angeles?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Nice. I went to school down there.
Yes.
Almost stayed down there. Down there. Couldn't afford a house. How can we help you tonight? You know what I'm talking about, right?
I thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Certainly.
Do you have a message from my beloved brother Richard? He died about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay, hold on. Don't give me any more than that, James. And the reason for that is when I open up to frequency, spirits are going to come forward. Sometimes the person you want to hear from the most may not be the first one to step forward. Other people that you know may come through. But let's see who we get. All right. I am getting a male energy coming through, and immediately what I'm feeling is constriction in my throat. I'm feeling swollen lymph glands. I feel difficulty swallowing, and I feel that my lungs are filling up with fluid. Now, this different causes of death and different physical conditions, James, may have similar sensations. Usually the filling up of the fluid, that could be like a pneumonia, COVID, but it could also be a congestive heart failure or some other lung disease, but it's specifically the lungs. My lymph glands hurt in my throat. Lymph glands can indicate a severe infection, but that could also be related to cancer, because once cancer metastasizes and gets into your lymphatic system, then it spreads throughout the body. I'm also getting clouded thinking prior to his passing. Now, by clouded thinking, there was something that was obstructing his ability for mental clarity and focus. This could be due to an illness. It could be due to medications. And I'm also getting, oh my God, I'm getting really, really bad low back pain in which could be the hips, but also the kidneys. And reason for that is the kidneys sit just above the hips. So when I get pain in that area as well, this gentleman who's coming through, James, was very, very ill. I mean, I'm getting my feet are tingling and icy, which indicate neurological and or circulation issues. So to recap, difficulty with mental focus and clarity, lymph glands swollen, difficulty with swallowing and his throat, lungs, oh my Lord, the lungs, the fluid buildup, pressure in the lungs, issues with kidneys, low back, and circulation body-wide issues there. Does any of that resonate with you, James?
Absolutely.
Okay, that sounds like your brother. You said his name was Richard? Okay. He may be making a joke here, and I'm going to say it. This is a G-rated show. He goes, he hated being called Dick. Does that make sense?
Well, not really.
Interesting. Well, that's what he's telling me. So just put that on the back burner. All right.
Thank you.
Now, night, as in K-N-I-G-H-T. That's interesting. About 6 or 7 months ago, I got this image, seeing a chessboard, and I'm seeing the knight. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean playing chess. It could mean something about a logo or an image of a knight, a K-N-I-G-H-T. Could be like a sports team or some company or something. as anything with a knight. And here's the thing, James, when a piece of information is transmitted by a spirit, it is not always about the spirit. It's what it means to you. So if I say knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, or a chessboard, what immediately comes to mind? Don't worry if it makes, sense or not.
No, nothing comes to mind.
Yes, it does. If I say knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, what hits you first?
No, I can't think of anything about that. No, I don't think it. I can't think anything about that.
Go ahead, Dr. Pat.
So, so let's talk about this. What did you and your brother do together?
Oh, we lived together.
But what kinds of things did you guys do as kids? What'd you do? Don't tell me any dirty, dark secrets, but just, like playing stuff. What did you do together?
Oh, we went to medical appointments together.
Okay. What else did you do as kids?
With Richard?
Yeah. Did you like to play with each other? How did you spend time when you were younger?
Oh, just at our jobs.
At some point you were children together, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. We were.
Okay. So what did you do as children?
Oh, we took the train to San Francisco.
To hang out. I love taking that train to San Francisco, by the way. But why did you guys like to do that? What did you share in common?
Well, he loved animals. He rescued dogs.
So he was kind of a knight in shining armor, wasn't he?
Oh, to me, he was the best brother in the world.
Right. So this is my interpretation of the word knight, K-N-I-G-H-T. We have people in our lives, and this is my sense of how you feel about him. And boy, my heart goes out to you for his loss. I know I'm trying to hold it together here myself tonight. My heart goes out to you because to see the relationship that I hear that Mark is telling you about, there's no other way to describe it, really, if you are him and he is you. Because my sense is that each of you held each other in the highest of light. Each of you were a knight in shining armor to each other. Now, I want to take that a little bit further because my sense is whenever somebody brings that up, I think about Robin Hood. I don't know, that's weird. I think about what's the deal with Robin Hood with you and your brother? Anything?
Robin Hood?
Robin Hood. You know Robin Hood, the guy in the forest?
Yes. No, I considered him the best brother in the world, and I feel I owed everything to him.
Yeah, I get it. See, that's what I'm saying here. He was so special to you, wasn't he, James?
Oh, my world collapsed when he left.
I can't even imagine. How can we help you tonight?
Well, actually, both of you have helped me very much, and I really appreciate the help that you've given me, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See, I think the message is mutual. I think your regard for him is you hold him in the highest. And the whole idea of a knight in shining armor is, it's a pivotal icon. And I think that he's saying the same for you. I think you have a mutual love and care and respect of the highest regard for each other.
I think there may be, Dr. Pat and James, I think there's another aspect. James, do you play chess at all? Have you ever played chess?
No.
Okay. The thing about the knight, it's different than all the other pieces. All the other pieces, like the bishops go diagonal, the rooks go, in straight lines, and everything either moves either diagonally or in straight lines. But a knight can actually jump over other pieces, and the knights, although they have a limited range, they outmaneuver other pieces. So I think not only is what Dr. Pat's saying, that both of you were like the knights in shining armor. Because think about it, the white knight, the good guy that comes in, Robin Hood's full of, the good guys and the bad guys, the white knights and the black knights. But the thing is, he's talking about you needing to outmaneuver the adversity that is surrounding you. And that adversity and the difficulties can also apply to grief. So you've got to outmaneuver it. Now, outmaneuver it doesn't mean avoid it, deny it. It means you have to find a way around it, over it, or through it. But that's what you have to do. That's what he means with the knight. That, and is there some issue with, he's talking about a clutch. Now, when I think of a clutch, I think of a transmission, okay? But I understand, Dr. Pat, isn't a clutch like another name for like a purse or something?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Okay.
it is.
Yeah, so I keep
But I
hearing
like the car clutch idea too.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. But I heard recently it was on Jeopardy or something. The word was clutch. I go, really? A clutch is a purse? So is there anything, before you say no, it means nothing to me, I want you to think clutch. And the way this works, James, is you don't sit and worry about how it applies to your brother. Just what comes into your head first when you hear clutch. And I think I know what he means by this, but go ahead. Clutch. First thing it hits you. Don't think, feel.
Clutch, you said?
Yes, C-L-U-T-C-H.
You mean those-
Clutch.
Something that they use in the old automobiles?
Yes.
Well, no, nothing comes to my mind because I didn't drive very often.
Who did the driving?
Oh, well, that's why he's my knight, because he was so kind to drive me for 24 years to my job.
High five that.
High five, Dr. Pat. There we go. All right. Now let's put this
That's
together. Yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's why you miss him so much and love him so much. And he loved you too.
Yes, he was the best, the best in the world.
Oh, James, thank you so very much for calling in. I hope this has
Thank you
helped.
Thank you both very, very much.
Thank you,
Thank
James.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank-
I can hear him grinding those gears right now. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for calling in. I think we have more callers, but anyway, for those of you out there, 1-800-930-2819, please give us a call. Let's go
All
to the
right.
phones.
Let's go to the next one.
Okay, up next we have Nicole from Dallas. You are live.
Hi, Nicole. Welcome to the show. How can we help you today?
Hi, how are y'all?
Good. How you doing?
I called in September. I'm good. I called in September, and I was the last caller, and y'all wanted me to call back. So sorry it took me so long.
That's all right.
You get there when you get there.
We've had things. I mean, I've had like a hurricane, two trips, and I'm getting ready to go on another tour.
Yeah.
So life tends to get in the way. So Nicole, what can we do to help you?
I just want to see if maybe my mom might have a message for me.
Hold on. Wow, I got a big time mom energy coming through. And I know in the last reading I got clutch, and purse, but there's a lady coming in that is just loaded with purses. Now, I realize a lot of women are really into the shoes and the purse thing, but I'm seeing a whole bunch of purses. Now, maybe your mom had a whole bunch of purses, or maybe you do, but the issue here is purses. But purses can mean other things too, because what do we put in purses? And I know ladies put all kinds of stuff, but money. Okay, so she could also be talking about money, and this is related to you. Let's see where else she's going here. Hold on. Does anything with a bunch of purses make sense, leaping right out at you?
Yes.
In what way? I love that. Yes.
Yes.
In what way? In what way, Nicole?
because
That was great.
My mom, she had a bunch of purses that I have that was an investment for, long term.
An investment as
Yeah, like
in
a Gucci.
Yeah, the purses are
Yeah.
the cash. Okay, now she just handed me a string of pearls. Now I know lots of ladies have pearls, okay, but pearls are also, this could be a piece of jewelry of significance connected to you or her that you may recognize with pearls in it. Pearls are also the birthstone for the month of June. So this could be a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event connected to you, your mom, or someone close to either of you within the month of June. Or because it's June, it could be a female name that starts with the letter J, like a June, Jean, Jane, Janet, Jody, Jessie, something like that. Is there anything with a female J name, the month of June, or pearls?
Well, she passed away in June. I have jewelry from her, and I know my sister-in-law is Jessica. That's the name. So
we got the triple crown on that one. See, so we got your mom here, and she said worry wart, worry wart, worry wart. She keeps saying worry wart. And she said, you got to get rid of that wart. You got to get rid of that. Oh, your mom's a riot. She is something else. All right. So, Nicole, obviously there's something weighing very heavily on you. She's not picking at you, calling you a worry wart, but she's telling you, like, got to put that ointment on it. That, what do they call that stuff that gets rid of, whatever, compound W or whatever it was, to get rid of that. Get rid of that wart, unless a wart is a specific, issue you're dealing with, and you don't have to divulge any medical, but worry wart. What's going on with the worrying, Nicole?
Well, I'm going through a probate with my brother. We're kind of technically against my brother, but I think we're coming to an agreement. But it's my brother, my dad, and I still don't have closure on why she was out when she passed away. I mean, she was in an accident.
Okay.
And it's been stressful.
Okay. All right. Hold on. She still had her wits about her and her mental clarity prior to passing, didn't she?
Yes, as far as I know. Yes.
Well, you know what she said? I had to get out. I had to get out. She said, I felt like a chicken in a chicken coop and I had to get out. And she said, I don't want you feeling sad or bad. I want you to feel glad. She said, because I went happy. Wow. She said she was happy when she passed. Do you know if where she was when she did pass, it was windy or breezy that day? Because I'm getting breezy. I just feel all this breeze and wind.
I'm unsure. I don't think so.
Well, that may be something you can find out at some point.
Yeah.
But breezy could also be another thing, like I felt breezy. I felt like lighter. Before I turn it over to Dr. Pat, clarify, you said she was out when she passed. I had to get out. I had to get out. I had to get out. What do you mean by that? She was out when she passed?
She drove not just a couple miles from her house, but she left the house, came back, and then left again. And this is at 4 a.m, and we don't know why.
Okay.
And she was driving, at a high rate the second time, and it's unknown. And she lost control.
Well, she said she died happy and breezy. I mean, if she was going at a high rate of speed, don't you think there's a lot of breeze going on? That's a yes,
True.
Nicole. Come on.
Yes.
All right,
yes,
now,
absolutely.
what she showed me, she's waving around a scarf. And like in the background, I got like this leopard throw over a chair. But she showed me like this scarf, and I can kind of see through. It's rather transparent, but it's got like a leopard pattern to it. Do you recognize that object? It could be yours.
She has some clothes, just a throw. Yes, I have a throw that has that leopard. Yes.
Okay, now let me explain to you why that's so important, and then Dr. Pat's going to chime in. When a spirit gives me a message of an explanatory or advisory nature, okay, and she said, It was breezy, and she was going really fast, and I died happy doing what I wanted to do because I had to get out. And I'm hearing like ride like the wind. She just needed to get out. She didn't want to die cooped up. Okay, so that's the message, the advice and explanation. But then when the spirit immediately follows that up, and I'm getting this either leopard scarf or throw, and you said, well, has one. The verifiable fact of that leopard patterned material is how the spirit, in this case your mom, is letting you and I know that we have properly received and interpreted the message before that. And she just said, Marsha. Is there a name like Marsha connected you or her in any way?
No, not that I can think of right now. Marsha.
Okay, don't do the no thing. Say not at this time. Write down Marsha, because the thing is, tomorrow you may encounter somebody by the name of Marsha. Marsha could be a Marcia, a Maria. It could be similar to that. All right, Dr. Pat, what do you have?
So thank you for calling in. So sorry for your loss. And, sometimes it's really hard, but then it gets harder when we run into disagreements with our family, right, Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. So you're having a little bit of that now, or you've had a bit of that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So how is it going now?
I think we're coming to a resolution. I provided some information to my sister-in-law to talk to my brother that would help both of us, and it let us come together as a family and be there for each other.
I know it's really hard sometimes. I've seen this more times than not. What concerns you most about your mom's passing? You have a big question mark around that somehow, right?
Yes, I do.
Like, are you wondering why did she get up and go out?
Yes, why she did, and it was almost like as if she was running from something.
Right.
It's not like her to go out that late or early, as you'd say. And
Yep. That's going to be a mystery, right? That's something that I think you really, that's something you really want to get to the bottom of. My senses, is that right?
Yes, I just want closure.
Okay. So here's what I want to say about that, because, that's my sense of it. When something like that happens, it's so unlikely. Why would she get in a car? Can I ask you, does she live where you live, or does she live in another place?
No, she lives down in Houston. That's 4 hours away.
Yeah, like far down in Houston where it's really marshy? How far, like Houston?
Well, kind of.
Okay.
Somewhat, Lake Houston. There you go.
Yeah,
she lives on Lake Houston.
Thank you. Lake Houston. That's what I wanted to find out. It's going to be hard to know. And here's what I want to say to you, and I'm not going to be able to say enough tonight, really, to help you. But there's sometimes we lose people, and none of it makes sense. You know what I mean? I mean, it just never makes sense. You're sitting there, and you cannot understand how the heck something happened, right?
Correct.
If there's foul play involved, which I don't know, and you don't have to share that at all, or if somehow somebody called her, of course you'll be able to find that out from phone records, then you can investigate it. You see what I mean? But even if you investigate,
that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Okay. So I knew you were doing this. How did I know you? I knew you were doing that. But here's what I want to say on it. I love that you're doing that, because if there was something odd or foul play, you really want to get to that. But what I want to say to you is, are you willing to accept the fact that you may not know, or you may not find out?
I'm trying. I've thought of that as well, that I may never know.
Okay. So you don't have to answer that today, because I'm not going to deter you from finding and getting at the bottom of it. I'm not. Mark was right, though. The messages that are coming through may be helpful to you. So if you can listen back to this show, see, the messages may be helpful to you to get to the bottom of it. They may be helpful.
Okay.
So think about some of the things he said, which you're probably thinking, oh, no, that's just like ridiculous. But it may not be ridiculous in the context of what got her to get up, obviously get dressed, get in the car, and go somewhere, right? Like what? At Speed Racer fast.
Do you, if I can, was she ill, or is this is like, she crashed and we're not sure why?
Yeah, she wasn't ill. She just had a car accident, and it's unknown. It's been investigated, but there's nothing that.
I see, and
obvious.
I keep getting. I just had to get out. I just had to get out. And sometimes, and I'm not saying that this is what happened, but this is the feeling that I get. Sometimes people have a sense of freedom when they go out and they speed, and they get out because I'm feeling all this breeze. And she said, "I died happy." And I know that's not what you want to hear. And, but I'm conveying to you what is being transmitted to me. And for whatever reason, she felt cooped up, and she just wanted to get out, open it up, and just feel the breeze. Now, whether or not Jed windows open or not, I don't know. But I keep getting this breeze, like breathe the fresh air, the free air. And she said that she has absolutely no regrets. Absolutely no regrets. And what's with strawberry jam? Strawberry jam. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Does it make sense to you in any shape, form, or fashion? You're thinking, go right to strawberry jam.
That I do. Me. I mean, I love it. I mean, I'm pretty sure she did too, but it wasn't like her.
Hold on. Stop. That's not what I asked you, and I'm not jumping on your case. When a spirit transmits a piece of information and I say, what does that mean to you? You said, I love it. And then you immediately went into why it didn't make sense to her. Let's go back to I love it. Remember when I said verifiable fact following the message?
Yes.
When spirits give me information and messages, then they'll throw something that seems like it's coming out of left field, like strawberry jam. Why is this guy talking about strawberry jam? That's how spirits validate things for me. I am not picking up that there's nothing nefarious. There was nothing sinister. She said she just wanted to be free. And this is going to be a real weird thing. Now she's showing me a koala bear. Now that's coming out of left field. Don't worry about how it applies to her. But if I say koala bear, what comes to mind for you?
I don't know. I don't know at all.
No, if I say koala bear, see, you're trying to figure out what it means. What does it resonate with you? What image do you get in your heart, in your mind?
Possibly something to do with with her grandson, my son.
Which is?
And it's her grandson, so I mean, she'd always talk about like taking them to the zoos and stuff. But I mean, she bought him a bunch of stuffed animals. Maybe there might be a koala bear in there. I'm not sure.
There you go.
You need to check that. You need to check that. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I mean, all of this is information to you. But what Mark said is so important. She's at peace. Now, I know that's hard. When my mom passed, it was such a mystery. And it took me, I got to tell you, I didn't understand what happened to my mom till 40 years later, right? But it never made sense to me. And all I'm trying to say to you, do not try to contemplate this for 40 years. I love that you're doing your due diligence, but Mark is giving you some clues. What would this mean? Well, did she talk to somebody? When you're investigating, did she call somebody? Did somebody call her? You've got all that information available to you, right, Nicole? I mean, those
Yes,
people are looking at that, right?
Yes.
You're investigator people, right? So you should already know what she was doing at 3:55 in the morning, or not. Or if there was something heavy on her mind. Look, I'm just going to leave you with this last thing. I grew up and My childhood wasn't great and I didn't cope with things really well. You'd never know that now, right? But I didn't.
Right.
But what I love to do, and I learned to do this, I grew up in a motorcycle family. But I'll tell you, there were just some days I could not sleep. I just couldn't sleep. It didn't matter if I'm watching the TV or I don't know. And I would go and get on my, whether it was a BSA, an Indian, a Harley, and I would get on that thing. And I would just take off. Now, I wish I could say I did that carefully. I didn't. And I think what Mark is saying, we may never know what put her in that car. Right? And you're doing everything you could do to make sure it's not foul play. And if it's not foul play, unless you're getting a serious intuitive help, you've got to give yourself room to heal, okay? The last thing I want to say to you is I heard what you said about giving your sister-in-law information to give your brother, so it sounds like you two are not talking. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's sad, isn't it? That's really getting to you too, right?
It is so hard.
Jeez, yeah. Did you hear the clip I played earlier from my mentor who passed away about how to come together?
Yes.
You may want to go back and listen to that. May want to send that to your brother, because there is always going to be a place for you to sit down and come together, even if you don't really agree, but to listen. Are you able to make that first move or not?
Yes, that's my goal.
Okay, good. I really want to honor you, Nicole. I just want to honor you for a minute. And I want to say this. This is not an easy call, and we've been with you for a while, and we've asked you a lot of questions, right? And we were very direct with you. And I just want to honor you because you showed up here and hung in here, and that tells me how dedicated and committed you are to bring this to full closure. And let me say, people that are as dedicated as you to bring things to full closure, they do it. You will get it done. Okay? You will get it done.
Thank you.
You will get it done. And, you know, I want to say this. I'm going to hold some space. I don't do that this often, but I found out I lost a friend today that I didn't know had passed. But I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to hold the space for your brother to have enough of a healing that a little portal opens up for him to be different than what he's been to you. I'm going to hold that.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Please take great care of yourself. You've got to take care of yourself. I know losing a mom is so extremely difficult.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're doing everything you can, but you've got to promise us you're going to take care of yourself now.
Absolutely. I have to. I have a son.
Oh, yes. That'll do it, whether you want to or not, right?
Absolutely.
How old's your son, Nicole?
He's 6.
Oh, my gosh. I was a nightmare at 6, so I hope he's better behaved than I was. Nicole, you're always welcome
Thank
here,
you,
okay?
guys.
Yeah, you're always welcome here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole. God bless you.
Thank you. You know, I want to say something about our callers tonight. And Mark, you and I have gotten feedback about this. I want them to know, if they're still listening, not only is the call that happens for them, but my experience in 20 years is when you have calls like this, there are 10,000 more people out there that are sensing they need some relief in the same way. And these two callers tonight, Nicole, thank you for your call. I mean, take a look at Knight in Shining Armor. That's what tonight was.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, it really was. It really was.
What resilience. Holy cow, Mark.
Yeah, and a lot of times when the messages come through, everybody's expecting Alexa and Siri. Spiritual messages, it's an electromagnetic wave that they're sending into my brain that gets converted into recognizable concepts to me. And sometimes these things are highly metaphorical, highly symbolic. And, you know, both the callers are very overcome with grief. And sometimes when we're overcome with grief, we're not making the connections, and there's nothing wrong with that. It simply takes time. So anyone who is grieving, because I get people all the time that say, well, someone I love died and they don't come to me. It's like, well, they're not on your schedule. And also people tend to block by no, or I want, or this is what I want to hear. I don't want to hear it. And you don't mean to do that. That's a very natural part of grieving. And it's why you've got to give yourself some time to get past the initial and listen to what the messages are and then let it sink in. Because I get emails from people pretty much every day. And in the wake of the reading, all of a sudden things make sense. We had a caller a couple of weeks ago, and her husband came through and something about a band. And I heard, "Baby, you can drive my car." And
I
she
remember
said,
that.
"No." Yeah. Well, she messaged me on Facebook and said that he had been in the Navy band and he was part of their, he was helping instruct her daughter's high school band. And one of the songs that they played was, "Baby, you can drive my car," but when you're in the reading, you tend not always to think of those things until later on. You go, "Oh yeah, that's what that was."
Yeah. And there's so much unsaid. I mean, the image I got in hearing Nicole and her mom, I had been in a similar situation. And Mark, this is really going to be hard for anybody to figure out, right? Sometimes there are similar situations where I remember getting a knock on my door very early in the morning, and it was not a good knock on my door. And I was able to kind of, what's the word, dwart that or do something with it. But it left me unsettled, right?
Yeah.
And for some of us, we have an escape mechanism, especially somebody like me who grew up in New York. I mean, I slept on the fire escape for a large part of my little tiny baby years. I didn't like the cockroaches. So I'm not kidding. That's a true story.
No, I don't mean to laugh. It's like nobody likes cockroaches.
I know, but they put me in the cockroach bed. And so I slept on the fire escape for most of the summer and the fall. And this is in Manhattan. So for me, that's my thing, right?
Yes.
I'm going to try to go to some place that reminds me of that feeling, that freedom, that safety. You never can tell what motivates people, especially if it's in time of a stressful moment. Or if it's in time of, I just got to get out of here moment.
Just got to get out. Sometimes
got to get out.
People do frivolous things and it leads to their death. Yeah.
Got to get out.
And you can spend the rest of your life trying to make sense of it, but perhaps in that moment, just zooming down the highway, was what she felt she needed to do.
Yeah. I like what Nicole is doing though, because I would be just like her. No stone, who's worse than me, Linda, no stone would go unturned. But you nailed it. And I wish I would have picked this up sooner. So if she calls in again, I think we need to explore the marsh thing because Mom lived on a lake. I think there's something more there. That's why I said, where did she live? She lived on Lake Houston.
Right. And there's a lot of marshes around that.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
And the client, the caller was very overcome with grief because I said it's real breezy. No, but she was speeding like 90 miles an hour. There's a lot of wind there. So anyway.
I really, for those of you out there, look, our hearts are with you when you call into this show. And there's always so much. And Nicole, and what we want to say to Nicole and James, thank you for calling in. You will get some additional insight. Nicole, I know you will. And please don't wait 6 months to call us, please, again. All right? Mark, tell everybody how they find out about you. And thank you for today. As usual, another great show.
Thank you. Everyone, please visit my website, afterlifefrequency.com. And this week in Tampa, Florida, at the Unity of Tampa Spiritual Center, I'll be conducting an evening of spirit communication. Go to my website, afterlifefrequency.com. Go to the calendar of events, and you can find out all about it and tickets. And I look forward to seeing you all there. And next week, Dr. Pat and I will be back, and we got another great show lined up for you. So everyone, God bless you and be at peace.
See you next time.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.